Is that how every episode starts?
No, I just decided to do that this one time. At the end of the first episode, I literally did the other riff in the. So I just decided to do that. Hello, welcome to the second.
That was a pretty good episode.
Welcome to the second episode of the 2.5 podcast. I'm your host, Sweaty Reed.
And I'm your co-host, Edgy. Welcome back, gamers, to Reed's channel.
Now, we have a special guest here. Luckily, my wife was allowed to let me have him over the weekend. Big. Say hi, Big.
Hi.
Yeah, so Big is going to play Fortnite while we talk. So we just
Hopefully I don't have to update.
Yeah, so we just finished watching the 2.5 episodes for this episode, which was the second half of episode 3, episode 4, and episode 5. In the last episode, Edgy and I predicted what would happen at part 2 of episode 3, and if I remember it correctly, I thought that like Alan and Jake might have a heart-to-heart or something like that.
Yeah,
Who's
I think
Alan?
That's what I assumed. Al, so Edgy, go ahead.
so the two men is Charlie and Alan. Alan is the wimpy one, and Charlie is Charlie Sheen, and then the half man is Jake. So Alan is the wimpy man.
I thought Alan was more of like older, like you know how like he talked and smiled like friends.
No, wrong.
Oh,
wrong
show.
Yeah, wrong show. That not Smiling Friends. This is called 2.5 Men.
Dude, they sound the same when you like say it slowly like that. It's true. Someone in the roll back the tape.
Roll back what tape? So we thought that Alan and Jake were going to have like a bonding moment, because in this episode Alan is trying to like make Jake happy because he's finally spending time with his son, so he takes him to Disneyland. But the next day Jake doesn't feel that good, and so he wants to go back and like stay at his mom's. And
the way he phrases it is he says, "I want to go home."
Yeah, he wants to go home. And you know, that's really heartbreaking for Alan. And he actually talks about that at the beginning of the second half of the episode, when Charlie and Alan are at a bar and they have like a heart-to-heart with each other.
Yeah, they sit and they kind of talk, and you know, Alan starts to get drunk and relatively more douchey as he gets drunker, and he's like, "I should go and, you know,
confront my wife while drunk.
My wife while drunk.
Taxi
obviously.
driver, take me to my not my house now because I don't live there, but it is my house because I'm the father.
And I'm gonna
500
put my
cigarettes.
dominion on her or whatever."
Right.
Right.
Oh, I love the whole entire bit inside the taxi, by the way. Like, I'm so glad that it like changed to this, because like it was so funny.
Yeah. Because it went in a totally different direction, because we thought that there was going to be like maybe something emotional with Jake, but you don't even see Jake in the rest of the episode. I don't think he's in any part of the episode.
The only part is like only implied, that like Alan goes back into his house and like you don't see what happens, but like it's just Charlie and the taxi driver talking, and they talk about chocolate pudding tubes.
And Charlie always has to like bring up Jake somehow. He's like, "Oh yeah, my nephew loves these chocolate pudding tubes," which is another like kind of wholesome Charlie moment.
Yeah, right.
And that we were just talking about. I hate referring to any part of this as wholesome when it comes to Charlie Sheen. Just know I'm talking about the fake character.
Yeah, the fake character. This character that is being portrayed in this show. Like, sure, it is Charlie, but like, I'm just gonna pretend that this is like a fictional character, Charlie.
500 cigarettes.
Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly. Nail on the head.
So like after Alan gets kicked out of his house, and he like, it's a minute and 30 basically. I didn't like count it. but it was basically a minute and 30 bit where he came in and then he comes back into the taxi and they drive away and then they talk about their mom and how much they hate her. And the taxi driver
The mom's
suggests
transgender?
the taxi driver suggests to confront their mom about the situation.
Well, he says like you can't, like most psychologists agree, like if you don't confront your maternal trauma or whatever, you'll be stuck in the same cycle over and over. And they're like, yeah, let's confront our maternal trauma right now. And Charlie's like, I don't know.
yeah, because he's scared of his mom, and it's very
They're
funny.
both terrified of that woman.
And so like, I love the bit where like they finally decide, yes, we're gonna go and do this. We're gonna go and then they what happens? They make the joke about like, oh, where's the address? And it's like, oh, you just drive like left of here.
Oh, you drive down Sunset until you reach the gates of hell.
Yeah, and then the scene transitions to the mom's house, like, and the glass is like shooting out red light and fog and shit. Like
it's like a red. It's lit. Like it's just like black tape details with red lighting around it. And it's like, oh, so it is actually the gates of hell.
And so they knock on their mom's door, and their mom comes out like, you know, like she was just sleeping or whatever, and Charlie like yells at her about like how she's like destroyed their lives, and the mom just says, I'm sorry, like she's confused, and they get like, they take that as like their go, like, oh yeah, that's her apologizing, we can go now.
They're like, you know what, yep.
Yeah, that's worth it. Yep.
Over.
Which is kind of fair. Like that's like looking into like the eye of death itself, and like it being like, I'm sorry, and being like, yeah, no, please, that's good enough.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the episode, they wake up drunk like on their balcony, and they find out that the taxi driver was like a part of a reality TV show thing, and they show some
so it was like a camera.
Yeah, and they show some funny clips of them being drunk assholes like in the car.
Yeah, and my immediate reaction when we reached the end of the episode is I was like, that had nothing to do with the first half.
Yeah, right. Like when
it was,
I think this podcast made that episode much more interesting, because the first half is really just like, it is two completely different segments of the same episode. It all fits together, but man, it's such a wild turn.
It's so great because I don't know. I thought the whole Jake plotline was gonna just add up to something, but they abandoned that so hard, so fast.
I guess we were just tricked, you know. Now we're smarter. We won't be tricked like that.
We'll know that sometimes it's gonna just completely go off the rails
and just fall flat on its face. Like, no, Alan does not like feel rectified about himself. In fact, both of these characters probably feel worse off than they did halfway through the episode. Anyways, yeah, I guess that was a fine.
Yeah, Big Six, what was your opinions on that half of it?
You weren't there, but what do you think?
I only watched like a minute and 30 seconds. I think they were talking about I don't know. I remember. I don't remember the movie.
I forgot. Wait, Porky died, and they I think they only made like one joke about. Oh yeah.
Porky got eaten by a pelican.
Yeah, Porky got eaten by a pelican, and then and when the mom opened up their door, she was like, someone better be dead, and Alan was like, yes, there is. Porky's dead. Which is fair. Porky was dead.
Oh yeah, Porky did die.
I remember they found they found the cell phone. Like I remember they found the cell phone, and then like the guy got a text. It's like the girl that was like the owner of the cell phone tried to like make his own like little world simulation of that.
Yep.
So we'll
just. What was your interpretation of that?
Yeah, and then like 500 cigarettes.
So episode 4, kind of, episode 4 really made me think of Big Six, like a lot.
No, it didn't.
It did. So,
My.
so we were introduced to Berta, which I think is like a much bigger character in this show.
Yeah, I
Parker's
remember
attack?
she's a recurring character.
Yeah. So
As
Berta's.
soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, I remember Berta.
Mhm.
Wait,
So Berta's like I think that she's a pretty great character.
She's very funny. I think
So
she definitely gets funnier as it goes on.
she
but-
she wakes Charlie up and is like, I'm leaving, Charlie. I don't want to clean your house anymore. And they kind of make it like a joke. I think that's a very funny joke that Charlie like considers Berta like as a wife that like does all the things in the house.
Except he doesn't have to have emotional attachment to her, which is perfect.
Yeah, which is perfect for him because he doesn't want any emotional attachment.
He's not capable.
So, but the reason why she leaves is because of Alan, because he's so uptight and he's such like a fucking nerd.
I know. He's all over her, and she's like, this is why I only do single men's house.
Though I will say that she should not put the peanut butter in the fridge.
Yeah. They could have been Jake, though.
It could
You
have
know.
been, but like Jake is even pissed off. And that's like,
True.
and he microwaves the peanut butter, and it turns into a liquid, which looks.
I died in Fortnite.
Oh, sorry, bud.
Aww.
Don't call me Bud.
Keep trying.
I know I will. I did level up though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. What level are you?
64. Like the Nintendo
Aw.
64. That's a good console.
That's a sick number.
It is a sick number.
But Alan says that he can take over the housework, and Charlie doesn't like the idea to begin with. Like criticizing Alan's coffee and
Like, literally,
other
the
things.
second he pours it,
Mhm.
he's like, he hates it immediately because, and he, like, throughout the episode, especially, like, you notice that he's acts so much like a little kid when it comes to actually having to do just menial tasks.
Mhm.
He throws a tantrum over the coffee and the paper, and he you realize how little he actually does for himself.
Right. The episode goes out where like, I don't know, an important part of it. We keep on not talking about it, but the stalker is like in most of these episodes.
Oh,
And
Rose.
and Rose the stalker is in this episode, and the kind of bit is that she's like, oh yeah, there's this other guy that I'm interested in named Andy, but like I don't know if I should ask him out. And so
Charlie keeps saying these like nice things to her,
trying to convince her to get out.
trying to convince her to go out with somebody else and like be a pest to them instead of to him.
Yeah.
I related to the part where they talk about their back. They also have back problems.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's an important part. So, through it all, like Alan tries to be the housewife of the place, but he keeps on royally fucking up because, well, it starts off with him trying to clean in front of Charlie, which Charlie hates because Berta's able to do it so well without help.
Or without like
Or
him seeing
her. Yeah, right. And it's like that's the amazing thing about Berta is that you don't see her at all when she's cleaning, which I think is a funny bit to excuse why the set always looks clean despite the fact that
Oh.
2.5 men are around and you don't see her, is because we don't see her.
And she wasn't in the first 3 episodes.
Uh-huh.
So, it's because she knows how to make herself not seen.
Right. Which is I think that's a great way to like introduce her. Is like, oh, why haven't we seen her? Oh, it's because she is quiet and she's like a mouse, but she cleans everything. She's very it seems like she's very serious about her job, but like she's also like snarky about it and cynical about it because it's like this fucking job sucks, but I do it well.
Yeah, it probably makes good enough money, even though there's other crappy stuff. Because
Well, you know, she cleans a lot of guys' houses, so I assume that she gets paid well by each of them.
yeah, and obviously since Charlie keeps basically just yelling at Alan, Alan is like, you know what? I'll go try to win Berta back. I'll try to go get her, but you have to get Jake ready to go to dinner with Judith, the wife, the ex-wife, the lesbian.
Yes. So this is the part where it makes me feel like Big Six is Jake, because Jake, like, the moment he's like, Alan says all you have to do is bathe him and get him dressed, and the moment that Alan leaves, Jake comes out and he's like dirty as hell.
He's covered in bike
grease because his chain broke, and then the whole entire rest of the episode is Jake just not complying with Charlie.
Like, not like it's like he has to be told specifically what to do, or like he's like, go get in the shower, and then he comes back out still holding the chain. And he's like, oh, I forgot I was supposed to shower. And then he was cleaning the chain in the toilet.
And then he drops the chain in the toilet. It's crazy, man. And then somehow I think he gets bathed, and then Charlie has him dress up. He has him almost finally dressed, and then Rose comes in to distract him for a little bit because Rose keeps on getting inside the house and changes dresses each time. So like, she's definitely trying to like seduce him, but Charlie's like, no, you do whatever, you go date this guy, you know. And it's obviously like a bait at this point, but like, you know, whatever. So after that conversation, and he gets like Rose to leave the scene, everyone sees Jake is like stripped back down and like goes to the bathroom because he needs the potty, and like it's just an absolute like heartbreak for Charlie. He
just feels like totally run down because he's completely naked, and he's like, oh, it's because I miss sometimes. I want to mess up my clothes. And Charlie's like, you know what? Whatever. Greet your mom in your underwear. I don't give a hoot anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the episode ends with him like sitting on the couch. Alan comes in like, oh, you don't have him ready? Are you really fucking serious? And Charlie's like, yep, I don't have him ready. I fucked up, and I get it. I can't do anything about it. And then, like, despite that, Jake comes out well dressed without the tie on, and Charlie has a tie on, and he looks like a fucking baboon, a dirty mess. But Jake looks completely fine, and then he leaves, and Charlie's just like, fuck my life.
Yep, and Alan does win Berta back.
Yes.
He goes to Steven Tyler's house to find Berta, and he knows she has back problems, and he begs her to come back, and then he uses his chiropractor skills, because he's a chiropractor, to convince her to come back. Basically, he fixes up her back, and then she's like, all right, I guess I'll come back.
Yeah, and so that's basically the end of the episode. Is there... Oh, yeah, and then the episode...
Oh, Rose.
Yeah, the episode ends with Rose coming back and being like, oh, my date with Randy didn't work out. And like, then Charlie feels bad because he's like, oh, well, like, you know, you put up so much work and I can't believe he stood you up. You know, how about I take you to dinner? And then he realizes, like, wait, you said Randy, not Andy. And she's like, oh, I almost got you. Whoops.
Oopsie.
My bad for being gone. I had to go get pizza, and then there's like some guy trying to kill me in Fortnite, but I guess he's dumb and didn't kill me.
Pleb.
Cool.
I know, like, how did he not kill me, dude? I was AFK. Loser.
Are you still in the game?
I'm in a new game, yeah.
Okay.
What were you guys asking me a question?
No. What do you think about episode 4?
You asking me?
Yes.
I didn't watch it.
Okay.
It was
Episode
okay.
5 starts off with Charlie being hungover.
Here's where Big Six actually came in and was at least present. I
Yes.
don't know if he watched.
He didn't watch this part of it specifically, but like, so Charlie is hungover. He just like got out from a wedding, and he's like dressed up in a tux, and Alan is like, "Hey, you need to go to Jake's soccer game," and Charlie's like, "No, I'm not. I'm going to sleep." And Alan's like, "All right, well, you have to tell Jake that you're not gonna go." In which like Jake is like, "Look, Charlie, I got new cleats." In which like Charlie's like, "Fuck, now I really gotta go." You know?
Yeah, and he gets that, charmed by Jake's cute little antics of the baby eyes and being like, "I'm so excited that you're coming today."
Yeah. And so he goes, and like while in the van, he talks to one of the single moms who's like really desperate, and I think it's very funny.
Yeah, she really comes on to him super hard, and he's like,
"No, I'm not doing this. Are you fucking? Are you on crack?"
Yeah, but
And so like, anyways, it doesn't matter because this woman is into Alan as well, which she doesn't like. Like, they're just desperate moms that are so like plastic.
yeah, they're catty and they're chatty. That's what I wrote down. They're chatty and catty. They're very catty. And they see Alan basically as prime bait, but obviously he doesn't notice because he's Alan. And then
like
at the
Barbie
soccer
movie,
game.
too.
What?
From Alan from the Barbie movie.
I guess the characters are kind of alike. Alan and Barbie's a better Alan.
He's a significantly better Alan.
He's the only Alan in that world.
Like, I honestly feel like that's kind of like true, that like if we're being real here, Big Six brings up a great point. Emma, would you say that Charlie is like kin as Alan is like Alan in the Barbie
Well, I feel like
universe?
Charlie, I don't even think he's the Ryan Gosling Ken. I think he's that other Ken that Ryan Gosling kept getting into fights with. I can't think.
I
Was it
forget
the
his.
ones that were they beaching off?
Yeah, they were
Yeah, the
beach
beaching
off.
off Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. Yeah, it's cool. I think that works as well. It's a great dynamic, anyways. But it's very apparent in this
Simu.
episode.
Simu Liu.
Mhm.
Nope.
That's that Ken. He's Simu Liu Ken.
Cool.
Nope.
No, okay.
Okay.
My bad. I'm playing for it. I killed another dude.
So,
Yeah, we have
anyways,
powers.
at the soccer game, they aren't keeping score, which is such like woke shit. Like, can
Well,
you
dude,
believe
the-
that like even in 2004 they were doing woke stuff like keeping count?
Dude, the new norm would not like that.
We're not keeping count. Yeah, the new norm would hate that.
Dude, this ain't like the old norm. This is like.
Could you imagine Charlie Sheen being like, "I'm the old norm. I want normal
I want
beer."
normal beer.
Why is there LGBT on my
It's a race.
beer?
Why is there LGBT on my 9/11 conspiracies?
Why is
That's
there
like-
gay beer?
Dude, when are we gonna get a politician that's pro 9/11?
Anyways. So Charlie starts hitting on this single mom that's like pretty cool, actually. Like, she's pretty like normal and such, unlike these catty women.
And she's like a little cynical, like Charlie is.
And so they think like, oh, we can like hang out by doing play dates and such, but that doesn't actually work out because like
another
kids
dude.
are stupid. That's like the whole entire bit, is that like one of the kids, her kid is fucking stupid and like won't stop touching dead animals that turn out to be alive, and hurt him.
What the fuck?
Um,
That's terrible, dude.
yeah,
What
it
show do you
sucks.
guys watch?
but like, anyways, well, it's off screen.
But
She
it's
just
so
kept
cool.
yelling things
Yeah.
at him.
And it's so like
I
they
never
couldn't
watched this
actually
show.
connect, and so they finally like do have a dinner date with each other. And when they go over, Charlie gets to see her ex-husband, who is Bob Duncan from
Good Luck, Charlie.
which is such a like funny little bit. Edgy said like a funny little thing in it. What do you say?
I said, "Good luck, Charlie."
Oh yeah.
Doesn't sound that funny. There was that silence. You actually said that really funny thing.
So
Good luck, Charlie.
good luck, Charlie.
It didn't sound that funny.
So like it first starts, so like in between that, Alan is having his little date with the two catty women that are trying to help make soccer league forms or soccer league flyers.
Yeah, and they start fighting.
Yeah, and they
over
start
Alan,
fighting over
basically.
Alan, and like it's so fucking cringe. All of it's cringe, but it's funny, I guess.
It was kind of, what was funny was they went to the other room, and they were
And
yelling at
Alan,
each other.
yeah, and Alan's like moving back and forth in the room to like listen.
And he didn't even like realize that they thought of him like that. Obviously, he was just surprised, and they were like, "Oh, we should let him choose," and the other lady was like, "But he still thinks that we're doing soccer flyers. He won't understand, or he won't pick right, or whatever."
Mhm.
And then he's right next to the door, and they open the door and slam it in his face and break his nose.
Big sick.
What about me? I never broke my nose.
Nothing. Okay.
Okay, little bro. Dude, I got 5 kills so far. Okay.
I'm so proud of you, bud.
Don't call me
You're
bud.
doing great, bud.
Dude,
You're
they
doing
added
great,
Magneto.
champ.
They added Magneto's thing, dude.
So I guess
You know
so
what?
at the
You know
at the
what?
end of
I
the
have a
episode.
question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
How's your day?
It's been pretty good. It's been hectic. I've been having to go back and forth and run errands, but it's been pretty good. And I'm gonna have to do some things after this episode. I'm pretty.
Play Fortnite?
No, I'm pretty surprised that we're almost done, right? Like we're one more scene. It's 28 minutes in, 29.
Okay.
The end of the episode has Charlie finishing the date with the single mom that he's been trying to hook up with for this whole entire episode, and it's a pretty grounded scene. I felt where Charlie's like, "Hey, I think that you're great, and I really am interested in continuing this as a real thing." And she's like, "Yeah, that's great and all, but if you really want this, then it's my kid and my custody battles and all of the money that I have, my finances and such. It's not just and I don't think that you're prepared for that." And he's like, "Yeah, you're fucking right, I'm not."
He's like, "I didn't even think about that."
Yeah, and
Are you
she's like,
prepared
"Oh,
for that, Lee?"
exactly. Yeah, no, of course I'm not. If this episode taught me anything, is that I should not do single moms. I should just not do them because they're too busy.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, she's not a single mom. She's in a freshly divorced mom, and I feel like that's
Fair.
very different.
Yes, that's
because
fair.
She's in the pit right now. She's in the worst spot possible, but
Yeah, like,
give
you just
it
get out
5
of it.
years.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But
That's a lot of years.
that's a lot of years for Charlie.
Yeah, that 5 years he could have so many other women in those 5 years waiting around. Why would he do that? Am I right, ladies and gentlemen?
Am I right?
Am I right?
No one watches this podcast. No ladies watch this podcast.
Yeah,
No.
that's probably right. Do ladies watch Reed's channel?
Do women watch my channel? Please comment.
Comments.
I will say, I do want to prove you guys wrong. There was this woman that commented on my top 10 hottest Sonic female characters
Oh
video.
my god.
And
Oh,
she
wow,
thanked
a
me.
real woman.
She thanked me, right? And I had to reply. I was like, "Hey, I just wanted to make sure you're a woman, right?" And she replied, "Yes." and like I don't know if you guys knew this, but I had like a seizure because of it, because like I was so shocked.
I didn't know women were allowed on the
I
internet.
didn't know that, right? So I went to the hospital. I was fine. That they checked me out the same day. It's been multiple years. There hasn't been any incident afterwards. I'm completely fine.
Thank God you haven't run into any other women on the internet. In
But
the wild.
that was shocking. It was
I
crazy.
got a question.
Go
You
ahead,
asked that
Big
for
Six.
a man.
What?
You asked that for a woman? You asked if that's a real woman?
Huh?
You don't ask if that's a real man?
Well, I guess I could have.
You could have.
I'm sorry that I wasn't so inclusionary, Big Six. I need to be
dude.
more woke.
You need to be like the new norm, but like.
You didn't ask them what their gender identity was.
Yeah, what if they were like non-binary, like a non-binary character in the new norm?
I should have thought about that.
Yeah.
You have to include the she, the
She
she's, the he's, and the they thems.
Yes.
Anyways, I think that's the end of this episode. Thank you all for watching
Oh, wait,
the
it is?
2.5 podcasts. In the next episode, we'll be watching episode 6, 7 and a half.
And a half.
See you
No, you're
all
not.
then.